They found me worthy to buy this house. I have enough money. They wouldn't have gave it to me if I didn't. Credit card company, they want you to financially ruin yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's advantageous.
Yeah.
By 20 to 30%
Yeah.
to them.
Correct, but in the same mindset on that, I know when you go to buy a house and everything like that, they do your debt ratio and everything like that. But at the same time, if you know what you're going to do with your money, you know how your money works and stuff like that. Again, it's the same mindset of if I say, okay, I'm going to go buy all these fixed expenses and I'm not going to worry about the other 30% that we talked about at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried about tithing. I'm not worried about putting money into a savings account. If anything, I have a 401k and I'm doing 6% because that's the match. Because they told me to do that to get the free money on the match. So I'm not worried about retirement. I'm not worried about doing an IRA. I'm not worried about doing a savings account. I have this house and they deem me worthy to do the house because they're not calculating me putting money into a savings account or worried about my retirement. They're just saying your debt ratio shows you can afford this house.
That's it. Okay.
So then I go and buy the house. Yeah. So then I go and buy the house and then I sit back and I say, well, hey, I want to retire one day. And I know that 6% isn't going to get it. So I need to start putting more money into retirement. Or I know it's hard in today's, lifestyle to say that, but a lot of people believe a lot of people who are financially free, financially successful, they're a married couple and they say, okay, your check is going to pay for all the bills. And then my check is going to go to retirement, savings, investing, and doing all that. But a lot of times, both checks are necessary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so what if one of you loses your job?
That's it.
And you haven't been saving money. And you haven't been doing it because you've been living paycheck to paycheck. Then one of you loses your job. So now everything's in trouble. So again, it's easy for someone like me to say that. It's easy for me to say, hey, you know what? You should really try to just live off of one paycheck. But, at the same time, you shouldn't just run around and just say, if they're telling us we can afford it, then we should get it,
And we want to keep up with the Andersons too,
So,
Not the Joneses.
No,
the
Andersons.
That's where I set my sights. Hey, if I can.
Yeah. And that's what happens when you're around, you in schools, you got the family and different things that are going on. You're like, oh, they got a new car, they got a new house. And like, you know what, we can get a new house. Let's go check this out. Mm-hmm. They got something over here in this new subdivision that opened up. And you're like, it's nothing wrong with looking at everything. And
there's
what's
plenty
out there.
wrong with looking.
But,
it entices you to do things you shouldn't
like,
do.
And then you're like, oh, well, maybe we could sell our house and do this and go over here. Maybe it'll balance it out. Mm-hmm. But I think it's one of those things is like, the reality of can you really afford that? And then what I really kind of focus on is like peace of mind at the end of the day. Like if I know we can live off of one income. And if I were to lose my job or whatever the case may be, my wife would be able to take care of that or whatever the case may be, right? So, and in all the bills, and we won't be struggling, right? We won't be struggling, but it's like, hey, we're living way below our means. We got everything that we really need to be able to live. And it's like, how do you want to live? Do you want to be like, well, I got this $1 million home. Yeah, you can afford it. But then now something happens, and anybody that's lived in 2008 around when the Great Recession happened.
During COVID.
Right? COVID was another one, right?
COVID.
So it's like everything went down, can't afford anything. Mm-hmm. Everybody, lost their jobs, X, Y, and Z.